So hello everyone, I am Mrs. Archana Priyadarshini, Assistant Professor in the Department of ISC, Canberra Engineering College. Let's welcome back to some of the concepts related to discrete maths. In the previous presentation, you must have seen what is meant by 0-1 matrices and directed graphs. So in this particular presentation, you look into what are the different properties of relations. Okay, so which are the types of relations and how are their properties. So you have got so many different kinds of relation. That is, you have got reflexive relation. You will be looking into what is meant by irreflexive relation, and next you will see what is meant by symmetric relation, and which whenever we find that a relation is not symmetric, we also call as asymmetric relation. Okay, whenever a relation is not symmetric, we call it as an asymmetric relation. That kind of property also exists. And okay, you will be studying about anti-symmetric relation. Okay, anti-symmetric relation. And then what is meant by transitive relation. Okay, transitive relation. So we'll be studying all these different kinds of relations in this video presentation. So first of all, let's start with what is reflexive relation. So let me start with the definition of reflexive relation. Okay, so a relation R on a set A is said to be reflexive if the ordered pair A, A belongs to R for all A in the set. So I will repeat. A relation R on the set A is said to be reflexive if whenever the ordered pair A, belongs to R for every A in that set A. Okay, or we can say that A is related to itself by R. Okay, and let me give you an example. Let's say I have got a set which consists of elements 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have got a relation here, and these are the ordered pairs in the relation 1, 2, 2, 2 and 3, 3. Okay, so just if I consider this relation with these three ordered pairs, is it a reflexive relation? No. Why? Because whatever element is present in the set, whatever elements are present in the set, each one of them must be related to itself. That is, 1 must be related to 1, 2 must be related to 2, or we need to have 1, 1, 2, 2, again 3 related to 3, 3, 3, and then 4 related to 4, 4, 4. So all these 4 pairs must be there in the relation. But what do I have? Just 3 pairs, and 4 is not at all related to itself. I want each and every element must be related to itself. Only then we can say that the particular relation is a reflexive relation. This is very clear. Okay. So next let me consider an example. Let's say I have got a relation that is less than or equal to. If I have got a relation something like this, is less than or equal to, it is a reflexive relation on the set of real numbers, right? Because we find either the element is less than another element or it is equal to the same element. So we will be getting in this form, that is this for every real number A, correct? And we can define some points related to reflexive relation. That is, the matrix of the reflexive relation, that is MR, okay, will have once in the main diagonal. You can observe we have got this property that is satisfied in while defining the matrix of the relation. We have got once in the main diagonal, and whenever we draw the diagram, let's say there are 3 vertices. Okay, and for each of the vertex there will be a loop, self loop, because 1 is related to itself, 1 comma 1 there is an edge, 2 comma 2 there is an edge, okay, 3 comma 3 there is an edge. Okay. So next, if we talk about the next relation, that is, so we'll see about irreflexive relation. Obviously, these two terms are different. Okay, when we say that a particular relation is not reflexive and a particular relation is irreflexive, both are different. The terms not reflexive and irreflexive are different. So I'll let you know how it is. So let's talk about this irreflexive relation first. So when can we say a relation is irreflexive? A relation is irreflexive. So a relation R on the set A, it is said to be irreflexive if A comma A does not belong to R for any A belongs to the set A. That is, if I do not have even a single element that is related to itself, if I do not have even a single element that is related to itself, then we call it as an irreflexive relation. So let me give an example to make it very clear. Let's say I have got the set A which consists of just 3 elements and I define a relation R. The relation R consists of, let us say, only these 2 pairs. So now let's see whether it is not reflexive or irreflexive. You can observe that there is at least one element related to itself. So this relation is not irreflexive. This relation is not irreflexive. That is, at least one element is related to itself, right? So this relation is not irreflexive. So what about reflexive relation? See, you can observe 1 is related to 1, 2 is related to 2, but we do not have 3 is related to 3, right? 3 comma 3 does not belong to R. Therefore, it is again not a reflexive relation. Not a reflexive relation. I hope by this example, the difference between irreflexive and not reflexive is clear. And we can see some of the results pertaining to irreflexive relation. That is, you will have, when you define matrix of a relation R, in that you will be having just zeros in the main diagonal. You can observe this because no element will be related to itself in case of irreflexive relation. And obviously in the graph you will not have any loops, self loops. Coming to the next kind of relation, that is symmetric relation. Okay, so what can you say about symmetric relation and when the relation is said to be symmetric? The relation R on set A is said to be symmetric if we have got the pair B comma A belongs to R whenever A comma B belongs to R for all A and B in the set A. Okay, so I repeat, a relation R on set A is said to be symmetric if we have the ordered pair B comma A belongs to R whenever A comma B is there in the relation. For any A comma B belongs to the set A. Oh, so a relation which is not symmetric, we call it as an asymmetric relation. Asymmetric relation. Let's take an example. If I have the set consisting of these elements and let me define a relation R1 here. So 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1, let's say. So now judge whether this is symmetric. You can observe when you look into relation R1, 1 is related to 1. We are not bothered when considering a symmetric relation. Obviously, we need to find A comma B pair, and for that A comma B, we need to see whether B comma A exists. You can observe this is B, right? This is A. Okay, for A comma B, yes, B comma A exists. That is all we want to see in symmetric relation. Yes, obviously this relation R1 is a symmetric relation. Is it clear? So coming to the next example, if I take another example to illustrate the symmetric property. So let me give another relation which has got these ordered pairs. Okay, I take this relation over the same set, and for A comma B, B comma A exist. What about for A comma B? That is, when A is 1 and B is 3, do I have 3 comma 1 in the relation? No. Therefore, the relation R2 is not symmetric, or we can say it as it is an asymmetric relation. It's an asymmetric relation. So, in case of symmetric relation, okay, the following property holds, that is, if Mij is equal to 1, then Mji equal to 1. That means, so if I write the matrix of the relation R, and if I have got 3 elements, so what does this property say is, so this is a property in case of a symmetric relation, okay, symmetric. That is, whenever A comma B belongs to R, B comma A also belongs to R. That is, if Mij, for example, if I say MAB, okay, and MBA. So if MAB is 1, then I need to have MBA is 1. That is the symmetric kind of property, and you can observe the ones in the corresponding columns for a symmetric relation. Okay, and this vice versa. If I have got Mij as 0, then Mji is also 0. So now let's look into the antisymmetric property. That is, we are discussing about the fourth kind of relation, that is antisymmetric relation. So what is this antisymmetric relation is? So a relation R on set A is said to be antisymmetric if whenever A comma B belongs to R and also B comma A belongs to R, then A is equal to B. Okay. So by this term it clearly means that we can have an example closely related to this. It is set A consists of 1, 2, 3 for example, and relation R1 consists of these pairs. So you can observe, if I take this as, this is A comma A. Okay, I do not have A comma B belongs to R and B comma A belongs to R. This is just A comma A. This is also, if I can say, B comma B. Those are the same elements. And if I say A comma B, okay, B comma A is also there. If both of them are there, then I need to have A is equal to B. Well, that is what is antisymmetric relation. Okay, clearly R1 is, we can say R1 is both symmetric and it is also antisymmetric. Right? We just look into this relation. It is both symmetric and as well as antisymmetric. Let me take another example for the relation. Okay. So if I take 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1, and also if I take 2 comma 3, you can observe A comma B belongs to R, B comma A belongs to R, and A is equal to B. Okay. Do I have A is equal to B? That means then A is equal to B. Okay. So if A comma B belongs to R and B comma A belongs to R, then A equal to B. So do I have that pair? No. So I can say that here, obviously if I do not have both the pairs, I just have A comma B belongs to. I do not have the other pair, so I will not consider this antisymmetric property for this one. But clearly from this, I do not have A is equal to B, right? Therefore, it is not a antisymmetric relation. It is not an antisymmetric relation. And what you can say about symmetric relation? Can you say this is symmetric relation? Obviously no. Because for A comma B, I do not have B comma A in the relation. So, it is not symmetric too. Okay. So, this concept is clear. So, let me move into the other kind of relation. We have got the relation, this last one, that is transitive relation. Okay, we are talking about transitive relation. So when can we say the relation is transitive? When can we say the relation is transitive? A relation R on set A is said to be transitive if whenever A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, okay, then A comma C belongs to R for all A, B, C belongs to A. Okay, we have got A comma B belongs to R, if whenever A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, then A comma C belongs to R. We need to have, if there are two, we need to have this pair also in case of transitive relation. So let me give an example. Consider the set 1, 2, 3. Okay, I have the relation R1 which consists of these pairs 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3, 3, 1 and then 3, 2. Let's say this is the relation R1. I take another relation R2 which consists of these pairs 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3 and 3, 1 on set A. So let's decide whether this is transitive or not. Basically, you can observe that we are going to check for A comma B pair. This is A, this is B. Both are different elements. Whenever A comma B belongs to R, and we can say this is C, right? And B comma C belongs to R. Okay, then we need to have A comma C belongs to R. That means I need to have A comma B, B comma C. Then I need to have 1, 3 belongs to R. So I can say yes, for this pair it is okay. It serves the transitive property. Can I have, I need to look into all pairs. Okay, so let's consider this. A comma B belongs to R. B comma C, it is same, right? B comma C belongs to R. Can I have A comma C? What is, do I have 3, 2 belongs to R? Yes. Okay, so this is done. So when I check into all the pairs, okay, when I check into all the pairs, I observe that I am having A comma C belongs to R. Similarly, if I check A comma B belongs to R, okay, B comma C belongs to R. Do I have 1, 2? Yes, 1, 2 exists. Okay. If I check for A comma B, I can also check for all the elements. When I compare for all the elements, I find that whenever A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, I do have A comma C belongs to R. Therefore, the relation R1 is said to be a transitive relation. Okay, you can consider this example for a transitive relation. So, relation R1 is a transitive relation. Let's look into what is relation R2. In relation R2, you are supposed to verify. So, in relation R2, whenever A comma B belongs to R, B comma C belongs to R, I do have A comma C belongs to R. Okay, what about the other? You need to check for all the pairs. Okay, so if I have got, see, if I consider this A comma B, A is 2, B is 3. A comma B belongs to R, B comma C belongs to R. Do I have 2, 1 belongs to R? See, whenever A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, then A comma C belongs to R. So, as per this property, I need to have this pair in this relation. Do I have it? No. So, I can say that R2 is not transitive. Okay, R2 is not transitive. Clear? So, this is the way how we need to identify whether a relation is reflexive or whether it is an irreflexive relation, or whether it's a transitive, or whether it's a symmetric or antisymmetric relation. So now let's look into certain problems. You'll be understanding it more clearer. Let's take a particular problem. Let A equals 1, 2, 3, and we need to determine the nature of the relation. Determine the nature of relations. Let's take the first example where R1 is given as 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 3 and 3, 1. So, what kind of relation is this? So, you can observe whenever A comma B belongs to R, I have B comma A belongs to R. Whenever A comma B belongs to R, I have B comma A belongs to R. Okay. So we can say that relation R1 is a symmetric relation. Okay, this is very clear. So, next if we check the other nature of relations, whether it is a reflexive relation, is it a reflexive relation? Before that, is it a irreflexive relation? Yes, because I do not have even a single element that is related to itself. I do not have 1, 1 or 2, 2 or 3, 3. I do not have even a single element that is related to itself. So the relation is an irreflexive relation, and it is neither a reflexive relation, or we can say, nor is it a transitive relation. Whenever a comma b belongs to R, then b comma c, do I have that pair? A comma b belongs to R, then b comma c belongs to R, then do I have a comma c belongs to R? That is, do I have 3 comma 2 belongs to R? No, I do not have. Therefore, it is not transitive. Okay, it is not transitive. Let me take another question wherein you are given these pairs. R2 is 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, and then 2 comma 3. Okay. So whether this relation R2, is it a reflexive relation, or check the other properties. So we can say R2 is, see, each element is related to itself in the set 1 to 3. So it is clearly a reflexive relation. Then when we check other nature of relation, nature, we can observe that whenever A comma B belongs to R, okay, do I have B comma A belongs to R? Obviously no, therefore it is not symmetric. The relation is reflexive but not symmetric. Okay, what can I say about the transitive property? So do I have A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R? Do I have that pair? I need to have both the pairs. Okay, so in order to check for A comma C belongs to R. Okay, so I can say that, do we have A comma B belongs to R and B comma C? No, I do not have. Obviously, we can say that since I do not have, see, I can have, I have got A comma B over here, right? But I do not have any B comma C pair. Do I have it? No. These are the same elements like B comma B or A comma A or C comma C. Do I have B comma C pair such that I can verify whether A comma C belongs to R? No. Therefore, we can clearly say that, see, whenever we have got these two pairs, we need to check for this. Otherwise, it is transitive. So, clearly, we can say that the relation R2 is reflexive and transitive. Okay, but it is not symmetric. Clear? So next we'll see another problem related to the same. So for example, you will be asked a question to draw the diagram, or there will be you'll be given a problem wherein you're supposed to find out the nature. Okay, find out the nature of the relations given the matrix of the relation. Find the nature of relations for the following matrices. For example, so this is the matrix of the relation R: 1 0 1 0, 0 1 0 1, 1 0 1 0, 0 1 0 1. This is an example. So just look into this matrix, the relation R. You can observe the main diagonal consists of ones. Therefore, the relation, or you can say the given matrix, since it has got ones in its main diagonal, the matrix is corresponds to a relation that is reflexive. Okay, you need to justify it by saying that since the matrix consists of all ones in the main diagonal, the matrix corresponds to a relation that is reflexive. Okay, so this is a reflexive relation. Then let's look into these pairs. That is, if I have got A, B, C, D, here also A, B, C, D, you can observe that A comma C is 1, and whenever A comma C is 1, do I have C comma A is 1? Yes. Then whenever B comma D is 1, do I have D comma B as 1? Yes. Therefore, the relation is symmetric. Okay. This is how you justify given the matrix of the relation. We can clearly find out the nature of the relations. Let's say you are given another problem closely related to the same 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 1 and 1 0 0 0. So what can you say about the nature? Just observe. By you can write some notations here. So here a comma c is 1. Do I have c comma a as 1? No. Here a comma d is 1. Do I have d comma a as 1? Yes. Okay. So that means the relation is not always symmetric. Okay, then next if I check for b comma c is 1, do I have c comma b is 1? No. So c comma d is 1, do I have d comma c as 1? No. Therefore the relation, so given matrix, okay, the given matrix is not symmetric. So when we say that it is not symmetric, okay, you can observe that in the presence we have got in the first row and the fourth column we have got 1. Okay, this we have got 1, a comma d we have got 1 and d comma a also we have got 1. Only in this case we have got a comma d as 1 and d comma a is as 1. So what we can infer is basically for others we are not getting it as 1, that is for a comma c is 1 but c comma a is not 1, right? Likewise, so we can say that the given matrix corresponds to a relation that is not antisymmetric. Okay, that is not antisymmetric. You can write this. Okay, let's take another question. You are supposed to draw the graph for the following question. That is, you are given A, B, C, D, E, okay, the set, and the relation R consists of these pairs A, D, okay, D, A, then you have got C, B, then you have got B, C, and you have got C, E, you have got E, C, B, E, and E, B, finally E, E. So, question is, let this be a symmetric relation, symmetric relation, okay, symmetric relation on A, and you are supposed to draw the graph of R. Draw the graph of R. So you can observe how do we draw the diagram. It's very clear. I have told you, you need to write the vertices as notes. So let's say A, B, C, D and E. We have drawn the vertices. Now we are supposed to represent these ordered pairs in terms of edges. So there is an edge from A to D. Okay. Vice versa, D to A. So I need not draw it, it is bidirectional. Then from C to B you have an edge, B to C you have an edge. Then C comma E you have an edge, E comma C you have got an edge, B to E you have got an edge, E to B you have an edge, and again a loop, self loop. So this is the graph of the corresponding relation. So such question also may appear. So let's take a last question under this category, that is are supposed to prove certain results based on the criteria. So let's take the question on set Z plus, that is set of positive integers, a relation R is defined by A related to B if and only if A divides B exactly. A divides B exactly. We are supposed to take such a relation where if, that is we can have a relation or we can have an ordered pair only if A divides B. Okay, and then we are supposed to prove that the relation R is reflexive, it is transitive and antisymmetric but not symmetric. Okay, this is what you have to prove. So let's draw the solution for this. So if you take any A belongs to Z plus, okay, if you take any particular element belongs to Z plus, you know the statement A divides A, it is true, right? So any number divides its own number, correct? If we take any number also, this is true, right? A will be related to A in this relation, that is A divides A, correct? So therefore we can say A is related to A for any A belongs to Z plus, and therefore R is reflexive. So next, what other properties we need to prove is, basically we need to check for transitive property, antisymmetric and not symmetric. Okay, so let's start with any two numbers, a comma b belongs to z plus. So whenever a comma b belongs to z plus, if I say a divides b, does it really mean that b should divide a? No. For example, if you take, if I write 2 divide 6, okay. Yes, 2 divides 6, right? So we have got the quotient 3 and the remainder is 0 for 2 divides 6. Yes, 2 divides 6 completely. Exactly. That means we have, we do not have any remainder. This is true. But this is not true, right? 6 does not divide 2. Okay, 6 does not divide 2 at all. We have a remainder. So it clearly means that a divides b does not actually imply that b divides a. Therefore, the relation a related to b does not always imply that b related to a, and hence R is not symmetric. So we have proved the second part. Next, we need to check for antisymmetric and transitive property. Okay. So when we say that, let's say we have got a divides b and also b divides a. Okay, this is possible only when a is equal to b, right? So, correct. We can have 2 divide 2, and which is same as 2 divides 2. Okay, we take one as a and one as b. This means that both the numbers are same for this kind of relation divides. Correct. Therefore, R is antisymmetric. Therefore, relation R is antisymmetric. So now next, if we talk about transitive property. So we know that for any a, b, c belongs to z plus. If I say a divides b, okay, and b divides c, okay, does it mean that a divides c? Take for example, if you take 2 divides 6, okay, okay, and then 6 divides 12. Does it mean that 2 divides 12? Yes, obviously it is true. Correct? Therefore, we can say that whenever A related to B and B related to C, obviously this implies that A is also related to C. Therefore, relation R is transitive. So this is how you can start proving with certain examples. So I hope this concept of properties of relations along with the problems is clear to you. Thank you.